Can the normal player use a wingman like Aceu, Timmy, or Imperial Hal? Personally, I've always struggled with the wingman and being consistent with it, so I've enlisted the help of Soar Hollow, a Apex Predator player. He's got 6,000 hours in the game. He's hit top 50 pred before. People call him the aim doctor. He's absolutely cracked at the game. Just to see if he's able to shed some light on how these wingman masters pull it off.
What a lot of mouse and keyboard players tend to do is they take advantage of the downtime between shots in the worst possible way. They will shoot and then move their crosshair away from the target and then flick back onto the target to hit them, right?
Oh, but that's to avoid the visual recoil, right? So they can see what's going on. Is that?
That happens, right? It's entirely reasonable to try to mitigate the visual recoil, but it's actually there's another way to kind of get over that, and it's a little bit harder, but it's more reliable, and that is just being in tune with where the center of your screen is. That dot right there, in my opinion, is a reminder of where the center of your screen is, and you should only use your reticle as a reminder of where that place is in the event that you do kind of need to dial that in. When would you need to dial that in? Sometimes in close range against very, very proactive crouch strafes, as well as just very proactive hitbox movement. Longer range where you need to pay attention to bullet lead. For the most part, you should be looking at your target and not your crosshair. I'm gonna strafe left and right in front of you, and I want you to aim at me, but instead of hard focusing on your crosshair, I want you to just look at me and how I'm moving. Aim at me, try to keep the center of your screen on me, but don't cross-eye on your crosshair is like what I like to call it.
Okay.
The idea of aiming, in my opinion, is not something that should be looked at as the idea of lining your crosshair up with the target.
It definitely feels easier than thinking about, hey, I need to make sure these 4 little pegs on my hipfire crosshair needs to line up with Hollow perfectly.
Tip number 2, I guess in its entirety, is view the wingman not as a flicking weapon, but as a tracking weapon. Only flick away from your target whenever the visual recoil of the wingman interferes with your ability to see them. The way that Timmy aims with the wingman, or at least like what I have seen, is from the perspective of someone who tries to teach people how to get better, very wasteful and unintentional,
like flicks, you think, or
flashy mouse movement that's just there for the specific purpose of making him look good. What he's doing is he's intentionally putting himself at a disadvantage by forcing himself to have to, flick right back onto his target, right? And then he is overcompensating for that disadvantage through his sheer amount of mechanical skill. You again, like, you have to walk before you run.
Right.
Like, it's so impressive to be able to do what he's doing. It's not like I'm discrediting iitzTimmy.
Right.
What he's doing is impressive. Tip number 3 is to abuse crosshair positioning. Whenever you are ready to take an engagement with someone, always be aiming at head level. The wingman receives the most, or you're gonna get the most value out of the wingman by going for the head. By
Actually,
the way,
what sensitivity are you on? I feel like I should ask you that.
Right now, I'm on 800 DPI 1.2, which is 43 centimeters per 360.
Okay, I'm at 1.3. So we're actually very similar.
What I want you to do is come over here with me. Compensate for how you're moving. You're gonna stand right here.
Okay.
And you're just gonna strafe left and right, and your goal is gonna be to use your wrist as a pivot point, and you're gonna keep your crosshair right on that dummy right there.
Wait, am I not supposed to shoot, or am I supposed to shoot?
You can shoot, yeah. Kill the dummy over and over again.
Yeah, it's like a very fine movement. Oh, wow.
You can see how that's, with time though, once you've mastered that concept, how much easier it's going to be for you to compensate for your own strafe. Let's see. Let's do some 1v1s. I think that it's about time. So we're gonna do 3 different types of 1v1s. We're gonna do this head glitch 1v1. I want you to utilize the crosshair positioning tips. I want you to utilize the strafe aiming tip of compensating for how you're moving with your wrist, or potentially your arm, depending on how that, how your sensitivity feels at this range. And I also want you to, I want you to pick one kind of. I want you to try to focus on tracking me for the first few ones, and then for the next few ones, try to focus on crosshair positioning.
Sure.
Because that way we can kind of find out what you're struggling with. But let's go.
Oof.
I'm down.
A little rusty.
I'm trying to like focus on something because right now, like, it's just sort of like I'm being thrown. I feel like it's like I'm like just facing you for the first time, so I'm still trying to like figure out your movements and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
The more that we 1v1, the more of an opportunity you'll have to figure out exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
Spicy.
He's kind of nice with it.
Yeah,
I got sauced on.
So in that case, I try predicting a bit more.
And you see how much easier it is to predict whenever I only have this much room to strafe on.
Mm-hmm.
You can, in a real game, you're gonna find these kinds of situations.
Mm-hmm. Oh damn. Oh.
See the stutter strafe where I just stop moving?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely like went way past you.
Nice.
Ooh, that was good. Yeah. So I was trying to watch you instead of like put my crosshair over you or whatever, you know? Like I'm not trying to like match it exactly. I'm just like head level looking at you. Yeah. And
so
like a little bit of predicting.
Exactly. You see how like just focusing on me with your eyeballs, you right?
Yeah.
And you already know where the center of your screen is, and that kind of takes over, right? In the back of your mind.
Dang, you're just the lead. Am I not moving? Okay, so I'm wondering if I'm not strafing wide enough or what?
Your movement is very repetitive. So you're strafing just left, right, left, right, left, right. And I can very easily fall into that rhythm.
Oh my god. What was that? Oh, I was doing this. I was doing a hollow. I was doing.
You almost got me.
So for a moment of clarity, I did all three things: line up my headshot, line up my crosshair, watch where you're going, and did this and matched your strafe. Like it was all
I am
three.
Proud. I'm smiling
for a second.
I love it.
And then I lost it.
Ooh.
Don't do this. Oh, thank God.
Oh, the tap strafe didn't work.
Oh man.
You see how I long strafed there though? You're just like railing me. I'm doing that in an attempt to try to throw you off, but you're looking at me. You're seeing how I'm moving, right?
It sounds so stupid, right? Like I can honestly see like one or two comments like, oh, how say just look at your enemies, but like seriously, like it makes a huge difference because before I used to try to match the little green dot with your head. And that would be impossible because the green dot would be moving up and down with the wingman, right? Because of the visual recoil. So it'd be very hard to like fucking try to match this bouncing green ball with your bouncing head. Like it's impossible. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my crosshair like below you so I'm not like lining up on your head. Oh, that was good. But I think you also gave me a lot of headshots too.
I hit 2 headshots, 2 body shots there.
Yeah, I think I hit 2. I think I did 2 and 1.
You just gotta check my head.
I landed some shots, but they weren't headies. That's the problem.
And I can tell that you, towards the end of the fight, the more that you lose HP, the more confidence you lose. You have to, sometimes in these kinds of fights, you have to play with 1 HP just as if you had 100.
All right, okay.
Sometimes. It's situational, but I want you to be completely unfazed and unaffected.
Oh, I did it. Oh, moment of clarity.
Rolled.
Fuck.
I'll start positioning. I'm just literally just wait for you to walk into it. We can go to arenas and pick up Wingman and just suffer in like arena pubs, or we can go to duos and play Loba. And I can just fly directly off the map and then kind of watch you. And
I think watching me would be better.
All right, bet we can do that.
So like we kind of talked about like Timmy, but I guess maybe more to like just the good players that we're kind of referencing. Like it's not from what I'm seeing, it's like it's not necessarily some secret sauce they have, or like some crazy like aim trainer regimen that they have. I mean, I'm sure that stuff could help, but it seems like they're just like really good at like those fundamentals that you're talking about, which is like,
yeah, it's just mastery over these skill sets, right? It's the only thing, like, you know, again, like it's such a stupid analogy, but you know, they're just doing what we're doing. Like they're reacting faster than we are. They're predicting better than we are. They are exercising control over their mouse more than we are, right? They're doing everything that we're doing better, stronger, and faster than we are. It's not like they're doing something completely and totally different.
So like one thing I really struggle with, like obviously for me, close range I struggle with, as we saw in the practice sesh, but also like these like fights that are like this range, like right here. I'm like, what the fuck am I even shooting at?
That's kind of, it's hard with the iron sight reticle, I'll admit.
Like what am I,
It's kind of just, it kind of comes down to just knowing exactly where the center point is, right? Or, and this is probably going to be one of the better philosophies that I'll give you.
Yeah, please.
It's better to hit your shots very slowly than it is to miss them very fast. And I'll say that again.
Yeah, please.
It is better to hit your shots slowly than it is to miss them very fast. So, like, taking your time and hitting your shots and having extended periods of time between each hit is going to be better than spamming and missing every bullet, right?
Oh my god.
You see how, like, you're kind of spamming and it's hard to, like, really kind of keep up? Take your time.
Okay. I feel like I'm just whiffing now.
No shot.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't have any loot. Oh, I don't have any loot.
Unlucky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's your point. That's your point, exactly.
It's better to hit your shots slowly than it is to miss them very fast,
all right?
right?
I'll slow down. Yeah, because those two players, like, were not good. Like, they were barely moving, but I was like, for some reason, like, my brain just
people
locked
shooting
up.
you in the back, and you were just like, I need to shoot as fast as possible, but if you're shooting 8 bullets as fast as you possibly can and you're hitting none of them, you're gonna get more value out of shooting 4 bullets in the same time that you shot those 8 missed shots, but hitting all 4 of those shots because you're like taking your time. A lot of people think that just because they're using a weapon that fires in a single, like fires like, you know, singular bullets and does damage in large singular instances, that they need to stop moving their mouse when they shoot. And it's a bad habit that a lot of people build up. You kind of just have to act like that's part of the reason why mouse and keyboard players struggle with the prowler. Like that's the only reason why the whole like mouse and keyboard versus controller prowler controversy was ever thing, is because mouse and keyboard players have no clue how to be properly like disciplined with the way that they're moving their mouse. The controller players are disciplined through their limitation. They're disciplined by default in the way that they're moving their camera around, because you can only do so much on a pair of joysticks, right? And you pair that with some mastery and rotational aim assist, and you've got a deadly burst weapon, because they treat the burst weapon like an automatic weapon, right?
All right, I'm gonna check this for Wingman. Aha, here we go. Dude, there's so many body. What? Okay, so I slowed down.
Right there.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Perfect.
That was good.
That is perfect right there. You took your time on that last shot and hit it. Obviously, you know, trying to go out of your way to go and get the wingman, putting yourself in a position to be on low ground, you know, like forcing yourself to have to be there. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with that fight, but what we're focusing on is just the wingman, and you executed that perfectly right there.
That was good. Yes, yes, it all came together.
By the way, this is very, very important.
Yes.
I want to include this.
Yes.
I am not perfect. I do not know everything. And some things that I say could very easily be wrong. And if at any point in time, anybody ever disagrees with anything that I say, I'm always open and welcome to expanding my perspective and making sure that my understanding of things or the way that I'm communicating them is better than it is. visual recoil is kind of exaggerated with the digi, right? And I want to take your time.
Throwing an arc star. Loot. The kind that's all mine.
I see your crosshair going up and up as you shoot.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's like you shoot a few bullets, then it goes up and over your target. It's like almost, it's like you're giving them a haircut. I didn't mean to, by the way, I didn't mean to like interrupt you or cause you to die there, but it's definitely something that I notice. Like from the spectator client point of view, it's like you shoot once and you're like moving your mouse upward a little bit. Unless I guess I'm just completely wrong about the Wingman having visual recoil. I guess it. Like either there's actual recoil there, or you're just not. I want to go in the firing range.
Test
actually, kind of. Yeah. Because if I'm lifting my mouse up off my desk, like I'm not seeing any it's not consistent. The triple headshot, like it actually does go up and over the head.
You know what it might be? I think it might be before the fire rate might be faster than the visual recoil reset. Oh, you know what I mean? Like,
that's actually the smartest thing I've heard all day long. That actually sounds like...
Yeah, look, dude, if you slow down your shots, it lets it fully reset, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. But if you spam it, it does have a slight... It's like McCree from Overwatch, dude. You remember playing that? You just have to... Yeah, you just have to let... If you spam it, it's going to have a little bit of recoil. Because it's just the resetting.
Shooting. I would suggest that, like... You know, pulling down a little bit or just like slowing down your fire rate a little bit might be the wave.
I kind of want to whip a massive, but this is an exercise of... Oh god, I have to land a headshot. Oh, thank god Alright, Wingman only. Okay, I slowed down a little bit there.
I like the way that looked. That Pathy kind of did fumble the bag a little bit, but
yeah, he just kind of stood there and let me smack him. Paid actor. That's how Candy gets all these bot lobbies.
Yeah, I told you guys, he does get bot lobbies. It's true. I saw it in the video. You see this guy hollow to his colluding.
Wait, actually, maybe I should record this screen while you're telling me about it.
this is an example of a content flick right here. See that? How I'm like, I know in this clip, I drop off of after this, I drop off of the edge in this building after chasing this wraith, and I knew that she was behind this fence, right? And I see this image, or I see her over here, and I just instinctually flick to where I know her head is gonna be, right? And then there's another clip over here, which is like insanely cool. Or this right here is like.
But these are examples of like content like flicks where you like have to react.
Some of these actually do have good habits. Like right here, I have crosshair positioning. So I'm literally looking at exactly where this wraith is going to appear. You see how the center of my reticle is practically where her head is, right? And then I literally just track her out of it. This is an example of like strafe aiming. So I hit the Bangalore a couple of times. I correct for her strafe after that missed shot. I hit the crypto twice. I hear someone climbing up on me, and then I strafe aim, and I'm literally, even though the Octane's standing perfectly still, I'm still moving, and then perfectly compensating for how I'm moving, and then I'm doing the same thing as I'm up top, right? I'll play that in full speed, that whole clip again, because obviously analyzing all of this is in...
this is only half speed, yeah.
Yeah. You see how all of my flicks are intentional and they're not like there's not as much wasted movement, right? So just to close things off, we kind of went over a lot of theory, a lot of things that you should be doing,
right?
And we did our best to practice it as much as we possibly could in Battle Royale with the limited time that we do have. Again, that's just kind of a demonstration of just how low of a concentration you're able to practice these kinds of skill sets in a Battle Royale. And FPS games in general, really, like, that's why I have 6,000 hours in the game, right? Like, it's why I have it really does take that amount of time
To get those reps in.
For the past 3 years to get those reps in, because think about it, you have to I mean, if we both wanted to load into a game right now, we would both have to click the ready button, we would have to wait for the matchmaker, we would have to both load into a game, have the waiting for players screen, and then we would go to selecting our character, and then or selecting all of our characters, seeing our team, seeing the champion team, then going into the dropship, waiting like a minimum of like 10-12 seconds to be able to drop. Then we have to drop all the way down onto the map, grab a weapon, and hope that it's good. And the Wingman's only one of those weapons, right? And if we're playing on Stormpoint, even if we land on double Wingman, purple armor, double HCOG, double purple heavy mag, and we clear everybody out in our POI, we're playing Lewis and Clark Simulator the entire time afterwards. And it's just like, practicing these things at it's going to happen at such a low concentration, which is why you have to enter into the game with a very, very focused and concentrated intention of improving whatever it is that you're trying to improve, because otherwise you're gonna get lost in the sauce and you're gonna find yourself with a couple thousand hours not going anywhere in terms of your skill. But yeah, I think, again, like, we'll go over the tips. Make sure to use crosshair positioning. View the Wingman as a tracking weapon instead of like a flicking weapon. Only flick when necessary. Be in tune with where the center of your screen is. Look at your target, not your crosshair, unless you absolutely have to look at your crosshair. Use your crosshair as a reminder of where the center of your screen is. Try to be intentional and efficient with how you're moving your mouse around. I hope that you find some sort of improvement through this, and I hope that anyone that may have watched this far also may have learned a little bit about how to get better with the Wingman, or just some stuff about aiming in general. Again, no hate to any of the streamers that we've talked about that do kinds of like content flicks or whatever. It's just not necessarily practical if you haven't really gotten to a point where you're a grandmaster aimer kind of a thing. You got to walk before you run.
It's like trying to do a dunk before you can even lay up.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, Candy Roo. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Dude,
and
thanks. Dude, we spent like 3 hours on this. I should be thanking you. It's like your whole day.
100%. 3 hours well spent. I learned a little bit as well.
Yeah, dude.